Welcome to Front Porch Stories, presented by Craig Messer. Back in the hills, down winding roads, and tucked between ridges, there are small towns and quiet hollers where stories live through the people who've called Appalachia home for generations. Around here, history isn't just written in books, it's shared on front porches, at kitchen tables, and in the voices of the folks who've lived it. On this show, we sit down with some of those voices and we hear their memories, the legends, the hard times, the good times, and everything in between. Now, welcome to our front porch. Grab a cold iced tea and let's settle in for another edition of Front Porch Stories. Here's your host, Craig Messer.
Hello, everybody. This is Craig. Welcome to another episode of Craig Messer's Front Porch Stories. I'm excited to be joined today by Miss Faith Deweese. I'm going to introduce her and let her tell you a little bit about herself.
Yeah, well, hey guys, I'm Faith. I know Craig because I am his daughter Chesney's dance teacher, and I am a native of Canton, born and raised there, and I'm just excited to get to talk to you guys today.
Absolutely. So she mentioned dance. So obviously, we're going to start with when did you start dancing? What made you want to do that? I guess even as a child and
Mhm.
continue in that.
Yeah, well, I started dance at either 2.5 or 3, I guess. I don't exactly remember, but my mom said that basically immediately I was interested in music and like always bouncing around my house, and I had a lot of energy. So she knew that it was something that I would enjoy. And she actually grew up clogging.
Okay.
So dance is kind of like we have a history through my family. My grandpa owned like a clogging company and he toured around kind of the South. And my mom was on the dance team, and then she ended up kind of being a clogging instructor, which I don't know much about clogging. I did tap, and you kind of can't do some crossover in that um, because the steps are similar, but they're not exactly the same. So that's how I started.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
Mhm.
you started in tap. Did you
Mhm.
branch off into any other dances?
Yeah, I started, I think my first class was tap and ballet combo.
Okay.
So I started off in that. And I have taken everything under the sun, basically, even like African dancing
Yeah.
once in a while in college. But I feel like when I was competing specifically, my claim to fame was jazz. And then I had a lot of like acro flexibility incorporated in there. So my passion is like somewhere in the jazz, lyrical, um, acro
Okay.
landscape, musical theater.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very
Mhm.
interesting. So you did that and then you went into high school, obviously still dancing. Time
Mhm.
to go to college. So was you planning on dance as a career, or were you like, this is the end of dance? What were your thoughts when you were finishing school up in high school?
Well, in high school, so I was a cheerleader for Pisgah High School, and I loved it. I had the best coaches ever, ever, ever. I feel like they've informed so much of how I've become a dance teacher. Just they were really tough, but you knew that they were there for you at the end of the day.
Right.
Um, and leaving high school, I also when I was a student in dance, I was an assistant teacher. So I always had like a passion for children and teaching dance. But post high school, I ended up going to Clemson University, and I tried out for their dance company and I did make it. And so I danced there a little bit, but that was not necessarily the correct choice of school for me.
Gotcha.
And I didn't take enough time to kind of like sit in that and pray about it and tour a bunch of schools. But I'm a first generation college student. So I do cut myself a little bit of slack for that. You just don't know till you know.
Right.
So I did end up transferring to Western Carolina, and I loved it there. That's where I probably should have been the whole time. And I thought I was done. I was like, you know what? I'm done with dance. This is not where I'm meant to be. I actually ended up getting a finance and marketing degree from Western. And so I thought I was just going to be like in the corporate world. And I actually graduated and ended up getting a job in at UNC Asheville in their payroll department. So I was working in finance. And Celia, I knew her through dance, and she had started her business. And we had a discussion one day about like, why don't you just come teach a lyrical class?
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I need some joy in my life. Like, let me just go ahead and try it out, see what I think about it. I don't know if I'm even going to be effective at this. So I went to teach one class a week, and it just has snowballed from there. Like, this is 100%, I feel like, where God has called me to be. And it's so interesting. Like, even I ended up having a pretty big health crisis a couple years back. And I was working still full time in my corporate job. And I ended up having to take a step back from that to
Yeah.
focus on my health and healing. And I had a bunch of surgeries. It was kind of crazy, actually.
Gosh.
But even that, it's so interesting how God's hand was in the whole story, because that allowed me to focus so much more on dance
Right.
and making it into a career like it is now.
Yep.
So yeah, it's just been such a huge blessing, actually. I love it so much.
That's awesome. It's cool how things like
Mhm.
that work out.
Yeah, it
Um,
really is.
so you're doing that full time, nothing else, no
Mhm.
financing, nothing. So that's nice, I guess.
It is nice. Occasionally I'll like get a little supplemental job here and there during the day, because you can't start dance really until the kids are out of school.
Right.
So, yeah, occasionally I've been in like doing some small business payroll type things, and I
Yeah,
do still kind of like that. It's nice to have something to fall back on always,
for sure.
but really it nothing fills your cup up the way that like working with these kids and seeing them light up and get something new.
Yeah.
That's just, that's just
Yeah.
where the joy in my life is.
That's awesome. What,
Mhm.
as a when you were dancing, what's like the coolest place you went and danced or competed or, did
Mhm.
something with?
Well, I had a couple cool ones. One of my favorite things that I did, I was in the halftime show of the Russell Athletic Bowl
Okay.
in Orlando, Florida. So that was really cool. We got to work with the choreographers that did High School Musical.
Wow.
So Kenny Ortega and Bonnie Story did that halftime show, and that was super, super fun. Um, I've danced in the Atlanta Ballet with the Atlanta Ballet Company. I was really little when I did that. I was I'm trying to think of the exact term. I was like the smallest Russian stacking doll
Okay.
in the Nutcracker.
That's cool.
And yeah, they were so nice to me. They like signed my little shoes, and I still
That-
have those somewhere, but they were so kind to me.
That's
And
amazing.
then I was in the Dance Masters of America pageants. So that was fun. I got to travel around to like Washington D.C. and compete, and San Antonio and places like that. So
Wow. That's really cool. So as a teacher, what has been the coolest place you have went to a competition so far?
well, we try to stay sort of local.
Okay.
Just for the kids, they're expensive. I mean, Craig,
Yeah, I
you're
found out.
you found out. Yeah, they're so expensive, and that's one thing I'm also really passionate about. If that's something I'm constantly praying about, working towards, is I really want to make dance more affordable, because I think it's so beneficial for these kids in so many ways. Like, they're learning so many leadership skills. Even if they don't grow up and become dancers or dance teachers,
Yeah.
I still think it's so beneficial for them in so many ways. And the barrier to entry with the financial aspect is so sad.
Right.
But we do nationals, and they tend to be at the beach.
Yeah,
So that's
that was
always
nice.
fun. It's like a work vacation.
Yeah, there you go. That's cool. So, do you have what is your dream like in dance, like for the future of your career in
Mhm.
dance? Like, do you have that kind of mapped out, an idea of what you want?
Honestly, I feel like I always set my goals too small. So, like I said, I started out only teaching one class, and now I'm teaching like 15 classes a week and 20 solos and setting all these competition pieces. And just recently, this past year, a competition owner came to me and asked me to be a judge at his events. So I've been traveling around judging this year. And that was something I would have never necessarily seen for myself, but it's been so fun. So I'm kind of just open to whatever path that God has for me with
Yeah.
it. We'll see kind of what happens.
That's cool.
Mhm.
So when you create the dance, how many you're teaching 15 classes. Of those 15, did you create all 15 dances?
Yep.
When do you start working on a new dance? Like you're going to be ending this year and then you start back in what, like August or September. So at what point is it okay, I've got to start developing next year's routines?
Well, for competition kids specifically, we compete in the spring. So when you go and you watch these amazing kids from other studios or like even the competitions that I've judged, you get so much inspiration. So I've
Okay.
already been writing so many dances, so much choreography ideas down. I have a playlist that's like 12 hours long of songs that I think would make good dances for different
Yeah.
age groups. So, we'll start our competition pieces probably as soon as nationals are over. Like we'll end in mid June. We'll start back for the summer for our competition kids, and they'll start learning. And then, depending on what Celia and I and Jessica discuss for our recital theme next year, once we get that picked, then I will start with whatever matches that for my kids for my more general
Yeah.
classes.
Okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
How long does it take? I mean, 15 seems like a lot, a lot of
Mhm.
dances. So is it just you write down your ideas, and then you put it all together, kind of?
Yeah, it just depends. I'm actually so I do 15 classes on a weekly basis, but I want to say I did 22 or 23 competition pieces this year. So that
Yeah.
specifically you have to almost be strategic.
Yeah.
Because you have to think about what you have to set the kid up for success. You have to think about what their strengths are, what category they're entering, like what they're kind of looking for at the competition. And then I kind of go from there, especially like if it's a solo and there's only one kid out there doing it. You have to think about how to make that kid shine and like write down all their skills.
Yeah.
And then there's songs that just speak to you. Like Celia and I have that discussion a lot. Sometimes a song will speak to me and not her,
Yeah.
and vice versa. It's just depending on your inspiration.
Yeah. That's
Hmm.
that's cool. So, and then even like with a group song,
Hmm.
everybody has their part.
Yep.
It's not simply
Everybody
one
has their
dance.
part.
Everybody copies this. It's everybody does their specific thing. That's impressive. I mean, that takes some skill. I think that's definitely a God called thing because I don't think, you got to have that talent. Obviously,
Hmm.
you had to be made with that talent, or you couldn't do it. So that's impressive to
I
me.
I think about stuff like that all the time. Like I don't know why I'm able to do the stuff that I do. It's completely the Lord. Like I really think that sometimes he just like gives me these specific ideas and I just run with it. But
Yeah,
mhm,
that's awesome. I love it. I love
mhm.
it. So, what do you have a dream of ever owning your own studio?
I don't know. See, this is the thing. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot to own your own dance studio. Also, I'm very blessed where I'm at. Celia just gives me free reign. Like I
Okay. Well,
really get to
that's
do whatever classes I want to do, whatever I'm interested in. She's always open to my ideas. And she and I work super, super well as a team.
yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed that really yet, but the more time you spend with us, like she has different strengths than me, and I feel like we balance each other out so well. Um, I don't know. I'm really happy where I'm at. So I
Yeah.
feel like maybe if I moved away sometime,
Right.
but
Well, I
I
think
kind
I
of
think
like our dynamic.
you kind of have the perfect situation, that
Yeah.
he lets you do all that and you don't have to be the owner. That-
Yes.
that's a big
And there's
benefit.
so much stress. There's so much stress and so many like back end things. And I try to help with that as much as she like needs me. We have a whole team, but it's just it is kind of the perfect situation. Like I get to do all the creative fun stuff, but I don't necessarily have to deal with the
Yes,
responsibility
for sure.
sometimes. Yeah.
For sure. For sure. When you're looking at and evaluating talent, that comes
Hmm.
in. So, I mean, you've got kids that start when they're real little and kids that
Mhm.
maybe come in, what's like an open class you have? Like, what's the oldest that could just say, "Hey, I want to try a dance class," like right now, and it could come in the next time you offer a starting class? Like, could
Yeah,
somebody
I
at
mean,
15 come in and be like, "I want to take this class"?
yeah, I'm very big on like dances for everybody. And I
Right.
think depending on how much you want to pour into it, you can still get good at any age. Like, you don't
Okay.
necessarily have to start at 3 years old to be successful.
Right.
One of the best ballerinas, I think, in American history started dance at 15 years old, Missy
Wow.
Copeland. So, and she just worked super hard and became, a fabulous ballerina. So we let really anybody take class. Like, we tend to have teen classes. I have a teen hip hop class that's pretty beginner.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I mean, you can really start at any age, but I would say the kids that start earlier end up like, it kind of clicks with them faster, I guess, is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. How
Mhm.
quickly can you tell a kid, if they're young, let's say they're under 10, let's say
Mhm.
maybe even younger than that. How quickly can you tell this person is very talented and has the ability to be really good in this?
Well, sometimes it's immediate.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends on the kid. You have certain kids, like, you can immediately tell they're really locked in.
Yeah.
Um, some kids really light up when they hit a stage and their smile is just like infectious and you just have to watch them. That's a kid that would tend to be good. I have a student, Adeline Shook, right now. If you watch her first dance recital ever, she's like 2 or 3 years old. You can immediately tell like that kid's gonna be a star. She has her timing correctly. She's on the beat. So it just kind of depends. Some people have a God-given ability with it, and then
Yeah.
it's also something that you can work on though. So, it just sort of just depends on the kid.
Do you ever have a kid say they just come in and they just can't do it?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what do you do? I mean, what do you do in that situation? That would
Yeah.
be a hard thing, but how do you handle that?
Yeah. I will say we are very good about we try not to be super harsh in that if you want to come dance with us and you actually want to travel around and compete,
Yeah.
we are pretty open to finding some place that you fit in.
Okay.
You may not be somebody that's going to go on with this and be an amazing, professional, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we can't find somewhere for you to shine in your own way.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely kids that they have two left feet sometimes, and
Yeah.
you just kind of have to hope and pray for the best there.
That makes sense. So I would be remiss if I didn't bring up dance moms.
Yes.
So like, have you experienced any crazy any crazy parental? I don't even know how to put it, but have you experienced that? I'm sure you have.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
and
yeah.
what
So,
what's your like? How do you handle that?
well, when I was a kid, our studio environment in general, I think, was set up more for a crazy dance mom.
Gotcha.
We were all really pitted against each other, and it could have just partially, I would say, it was the staff and the way that they wanted it run.
Yeah.
But I think it was also just the time. Like, I grew up in the time of the show Dance Moms.
Right.
So it was just kind of crazy. Like, it was, the teachers would talk to you crazy. It was just a
It's
crazy
just how
time.
it was.
So I actually had a woman one time steal my costume out of my bag, a different dance mom. And yeah. So, I mean, we've had crazy stuff happen. Like, I've had crazy stuff happen to me personally.
Yeah.
But as a teacher, um, I would say we try very, very hard to encourage everyone being kind to each other, lots of team building. We're very lucky and blessed with the kids and the parents that we do have. Everyone's pretty chill for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, but we will dismiss you from the studio. I
Okay.
mean,
You will.
we can't let it get to a place where it's toxic because we're so fortunate to have the company culture that we have.
Sure. For sure. That makes
Mhm.
sense. That's funny. I can just imagine a parent taking your costume kind of blows my mind, but I could see it. Like, could see that.
Yeah, it gets competitive, especially when you start getting older and you're like competing one on one against your own teammates. It gets a little crazy.
Yeah, that's tough right there.
Hmm.
So I have three questions that I ask every guest, and so we're gonna run through those. What is your favorite TV show of all time?
I feel like I want to say The Office is my favorite TV show of all time.
Okay.
I love Steve Carell, and he and I have the same birthday, so that's a
Okay.
fun fact.
There you
Yeah.
go. Supposed to be your favorite show then. Um,
Yes.
Favorite movie of all time.
The Parent Trap, but the Lindsay Lohan version.
Right.
And the lady that played Meredith Blake, so I'm 27 this year, but last year, she was 26 in that movie. So I told everyone it was my Meredith Blake year. And then she ended up going on Dancing with the Stars. And Dancing with the Stars is like, I never
Yeah,
miss an episode of Dancing with the Stars. So she's partially why I love that movie, but that is for sure my favorite movie.
that's funny. All right,
Mhm.
favorite musical artist of all time. And I actually have a guess of this, but I'm not going to tell you because I'm curious what you're going to say. I have two guesses in my head.
Okay.
So let's see.
You may guess it correctly because I feel like everyone knows this about me, but I am Dolly Parton's number one fan.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
See that.
she she's just like everything to me. People buy me Dolly Parton merch,
Yeah.
and I typically do at least one Dolly themed dance a year. This year we're
I've
doing
noticed
Jolene,
that.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. That's interesting.
I
I
love
didn't,
her.
that was not my guess, but it makes sense now that you tell me that. So
What was your guess?
well, first was going to be Taylor Swift.
Okay, I like her too. Yeah.
And second, I don't know. This is a weird one, but I thought Elton John.
Okay,
That
I
seems
could
kind
kind
of
of see
out,
that
but
too.
out
Oh,
there. But I don't know. I thought,
sorry.
hey, pup. um,
Yeah, he wanted to be in here. Sorry. He's
no,
he's a
that's
clingy
good.
little
That's
guy.
good.
Okay.
So ask Chesney if she's related to Dolly Parton. She can tell you about it.
Okay, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
excited. I'm
There
excited
is
to
a
hear
whole
that.
story. There is a whole story. So we actually are, but I mean, obviously
I love that.
down the line. So I'm sure she won't shy away from telling you. So
Okay, I love that so much.
she's
She
boy,
is
she loves Dolly. So
I love her too. Chesney is so well spoken.
yeah.
I love that about her. Like immediately the first time I met her, I was like, this kid is smart.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
she asks 759 million questions a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are you asking? But when I was a kid, I was constantly asking questions. So I think that's just how she learns and processes things
Hmm.
because that's what I did. But yeah, she's so inquisitive and just thinks through things and analyzes them. But she kind of blows me away how smart she is sometimes. She told me the other day that, why do I have to do school? And I said, so you can learn and do all this stuff. And she said, but I already think I know everything. And I'm like, I don't think you know everything. I said, do you think you know as much as me? And she said, I think I'm pretty close. And I just kind of laughed. I was like, well, you don't. So, but she
That's
does. I mean,
hilarious.
she knows a lot and she, understands. Of course, she's my kid. I think she's a little above average, but I think she has a comprehension that's pretty impressive for seven. So,
Oh, I agree.
and
She's extremely well spoken.
she laser
Picks up so
focuses.
fast.
Yes.
Yes.
If she
Hmm.
has decided she likes something, she's gonna do it and she's gonna do it good.
Yeah. Hmm.
Just like with dance, like she watches and she'll practice at home and she'll teach Presley dances
Yeah.
and it's just, she wants to do the technical, like she wants to have it technically accurate.
Yes, she does. And
So
she
the
also
details matter.
she's a kid that her face lights up when she dances.
Yeah.
Like she's fun to watch genuinely because you can tell she loves it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. She does for sure. She Sunday, this is just a little off topic, but there was a football outside of my parents' house and she picked it up and tried to throw it. And I was like, no, I don't. So let me show you how to throw it.
Hmm.
Took 3 times of me showing her and she starts throwing it the right way. And I was like, your spiral's almost better than mine. And you just picked up the
Yeah.
football. Like it's crazy.
Oh,
'Cause
I believe it. She
gets
picks
it.
up so fast.
Yeah.
She really does.
So she is something special for sure. So of course, all my kids are. I'll say that. And all your kids are, right? All your kids that dance.
Yeah, they really are. They really do become your family. Like I just told someone this week, it's like if you had the same exact teacher every year from the time you're in preschool until you graduate high school. Like you develop a relationship with these kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really do.
I mean, I didn't think of it like that, but that's true. I mean, it's the
Mhm.
same as that long with the same person is a lot. That'd be tough. That'd be tough when you get to that ending.
I know.
See somebody go.
I've not necessarily done it long enough at this point to have a bunch of graduation
Yeah.
kids, but I already know like I'm going to be in tears. It's going to be horrible.
Gonna be tough for sure.
Mhm.
I see that. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
It feels like I'll probably see you in like 4 hours because Chesney has dances.
Yes.
So
Yes, I will see you later.
sounds good. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Craig.
You are welcome to come on anytime and talk about anything. Promote dance. I'm happy to have you
Awesome.
on. What's your dog's name? Let's get that before we.
This is Milo.
It looks like
It's Milo. He's
Milo.
always in,
Little schnauzer.
in the picture. He is a schnauzer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Tell Chesney you have a schnauzer too.
Okay, I will. Do you guys have a
her-
schnauzer?
We don't, but her Nana wants one real bad. She's had them before, so Kate.
Yeah.
She'll talk about schnauzer too. So
I love that.
that's awesome. All right, well, thank you guys for listening to this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and maybe you'll even take a dance class. I can put links in the bio of this episode, and you can check them out there. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Absolutely. See you.
Hey y'all, I'm Craig Messer, local realtor with Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate Heritage, out here in beautiful Haywood County, North Carolina. We've got 2 offices to serve you, one in Maggie Valley and one in Canton. If you are looking to buy or sell, this is the perfect time to do so, and Western North Carolina is the greatest place that you can do it. Western North Carolina is what we like to call God's country. We've got beautiful mountains, beautiful valleys, beautiful rivers, great people, great downtown scenes, great schools with some of the greatest rivalries in all of the Southeast. I'm a local. I was born here and raised here, went to school here, I go to church here, and now I'm raising my own family here. And I can attest that there's nowhere else that I would rather be. And if you're looking to buy or sell, reach out to me and let's start this journey together. Whether you want to be up on the mountaintop or down here in the valley, we can find a place for you.